Hi, do you remember me? It's Eva, Grandma Eva. I had the badger that fell down in the outhouse, That's me. So I'm going to tell you a little bit more about us living in the mountains, because that's where I had my badger, was in the mountains, because we were homesteaders. And I'll tell you about it. To have a homestead, you have to, you get some, you buy some land, but you don't pay the whole price. And the government says, okay, you have to build a house, and you have to build a fence, and you have to live there for like 7 years, and then you own it. That's it. It's kind of nice. So my dad thought, we're going to be homesteaders. So let me tell you about our homestead in the mountains. So I come from a big family. This is my family. Oh my goodness, that's a lot of kids. There's my dad, George. Dad, George. Mom, Betsy. And my sister, Rosalind. My brother, Harold. My sister, Zelda. My brother, Percy. My brother, Delbert. My brother, Edwin. Sister, Lena. And then there's me. And then my sister, Myrtle. My little brother, Glenn. So that's all of us. And so what we would do is in the springtime, we would be living in McDonaldville. That's kind of by Blackfoot. It's not McDonald's. It's like McDonaldville. Okay. And we would load up our wagon. That's not a princess carriage. It's a wagon, okay? Work with me here. Load up our wagon. We'd get our animals, the cows, the sheep, the horses, and we would start walking into the mountains. And at night, we would camp in the mountains, and we would go milk the cows every night. Here, Dad, go milk the cows. And we would take care of our horses, get them all cleaned up, get ready to go to bed. We're just gonna stay the night here. Take off your saddle, little horses. Oops, stand up, little colt. And then my mom would get dinner out of the wagon. We would fix dinner, and then we would just kind of have a fire, and we would roll out our bed rolls, and that's where we would sleep. We just go to sleep for the night, and then next morning, get up, everybody wake up, go out and milk the cows again. Those cows milked, so we got milk for the day. And get the horses all ready, get them saddled up, and get everything back in the wagon, pack it up, here we go. And we keep going into the mountains. And we come into the mountains. And our first summer, we all slept in a tent. And we started building our homestead. Remember, we got to build a house, and we got to build fences, and we got to have our animals up there. We can plant some crops, so we got to start doing that. So that first summer, we lived in a tent, but then by the next summer, we built a cabin. And the cabin is where like we had our kitchen, and my mom and dad slept, and then there was still a tent in the backyard, and that's where we slept. All the kids slept in the tent every night. We liked it when there was rain. It was so pretty. You could hear the rain on the tent, and we liked that. We loved our mountain home. And so we'd go back to McDonaldville in the fall, right? So it's just summer we were up here, but every summer we'd come up and we'd kind of clean out our cabin, because we got a cabin now. We gotta get the mice out of the cabin, get out of here, no mice. All right, now we can live in the cabin. It's all cleaned out. We gotta do that every summer when we come up. And we did a lot of stuff. So here's our cabin. And that's me and my sister right there. And one thing we had to do was chink the cabin. What does that even mean? What are you talking about? Well, you build a cabin out of logs. Do you see these logs? these logs all the way along here. And in between the logs, you put mud, just mud. You had a chink in between those logs. And the mud would dry out and fall out. So you had to put more mud in, and it had to stay in, gotta stay in, otherwise you could have holes in your wall. So chink, 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 chink. We had to do that every summer. That was a good thing we did. And another thing we did, my sisters and I, we made mud pies. Aren't they lovely? And we'd decorate them with flowers, and we'd play house, and we'd play with mud pies, because it was nice. And we also played with paper dolls. We liked those. And one of my favorite pastimes was I'd play with my dog. Hello, puppy dog. And also, I loved riding horses. I could ride horses too, just like my brothers. They would show me how. And we'd go riding horses all over the place. We didn't have any neighbors. There was no one else around. We were like pioneers. We were just homesteaders, living up here in the mountains and riding our horses around. It was nice. Another game we played was, here's our corral. We keep some of our animals in it. You're in there, horse. There we go. And so a game that we used to play here was we'd climb up on top of the corral and walk really carefully. Oh my goodness. And that was, so we built a corral like that. And some of you played that game once. Do you remember that? It was a few years ago. It was family home evening. And so you practiced walking the corral. So here's, or pretend, corral. You do that piece of log, that log right there. And you gotta walk along it. And so all of us kids would kind of play this game where you walk along the corral. And we'd see how far we can go. And if you fell off, you gotta go all the way back to the beginning, all the way back. Okay, now see if you can go. You gotta go, don't lose your balance. Don't lose your balance. And oh my goodness, if you can make it all the way around the corral without falling off, you win. You win, yay. Yay. So that was a fun game to play. Now one other thing, if you live in a log cabin, you don't have a fridge. You have a stove. You don't have a fridge. So what do? Do you know what a spring is? Not the season. A spring is, this is not our spring, but this is a picture, is where water comes right out of the earth. Did you know that happens? You have seen a spring before. You remember when that was? When was that? That was a family reunion. That's a glare. You guys remember going to this family reunion and there was some water that you saw? That was a spring. It was a big one. It started a river. We don't have a river. We just have a little spring. And it was just down from our house. And that was our refrigerator. Because the water in the spring is so cold. Oh, it's cold. And it comes right out of the ground. It just makes kind of a little pond, and then it kind of trickles away. And it's kind of nice. And so that's where we would keep all of our food cold. That's kind of handy, huh? Just keep it in there. And my dad built a box that could just sit in there, and that was our refrigerator. That was the fridge. Worked out great. Well, end of summer, we pack everything up in the wagon, and we go back to McDonaldville where we have a house. And we put our sheep out on the lava flats. Have you seen the lava flats? They're out there by Blackfoot. It has black rock. You might ask your parents to show you that. That's where the sheep would be all winter long, and they would just stay out there. In the spring, we'd take them back to the mountains. So, well, one fall, I was old enough to start school. School. What is that? What is school? Well, I'll tell you about it. So, we got back into McDonaldville, and my mom took me to school. And I went to school. And she says, okay, now you've got to stay here. and do your teacher tells you, okay? You just gotta stay here all day long, all right? And so she left me there, and I thought, well, this is stupid. I don't want to just sit here all day. What, are you serious? I just have to do that? I don't think so. And so, as soon as we had something called recess, apparently we get to go outside. That's what recess is. I left. I started walking home. And I think my mom knew I was going to do that, because she could tell I wasn't very impressed. I'm like, there's so much more I could be doing at home. Like, this is kind of boring. I want to go home and play. So anyway, I started walking home, and my sister Rosalind lived in town by the school. And my mom had stopped to visit her, and pretty soon they saw me just kind of walking past. Eva, Eva, Eva. Oh wait, what? Honey, no, you gotta stay in school. So she took me back and took me to school, and I thought, gasp, I'm trapped. I wasn't really liking school. One thing my dad had told me before I left that morning, he told all his kids, if your teacher has to whip you at school, because that used to happen, if you were, like, didn't know your lesson or you were not behaving, your teacher could whip you. She could do that. If your teacher has to whip you at school, I will whip you again when you get home. You understand? Okay, I'll be good. I'll be really good. Okay, well, school now, I guess. So, and you know what? School wasn't so bad. It really wasn't. The kids were nice, and we had a first grade through fourth grade, everybody all in one classroom. Can you imagine that? So my sister Lena was in school with me. And school was pretty good. Oops. That's me, right there. I'm in school. Can you tell it's me? I'm in school. That's my class. And it wasn't too bad. It was kind of fun. Do you see this snow cave that we made? Oh man, that was pretty cool. See that kid inside of it? That was kind of fun. Yeah, you know, school wasn't so bad. It was pretty interesting. I liked learning things. And I didn't get in trouble. So that was a good thing. I'll catch you later.